Hi, everybody. Uh,
Hello, we're
new
finally
live,
here.
yeah, new live over here, you guys. I was just telling Lawrence, I think that was all my fault. My router is kind of behind the sofa that I always sit on for these, and I think in trying to tidy up, I bonked the router and unplugged it. So go me. Yeah, I'm connected again. Let's never talk about it
Yay.
again.
Can
Uh,
I tell you
yes,
my one frustration with this moment is that I
yes,
don't love that the device that we're doing our lives on is also my only way to contact you, Like,
right.
so I'm like, turn on do not disturb. No, turn off do not disturb. Contact
Right.
Dana. Going live. But, and it's all up on a stand, so I'm not, using thumbs and
Right.
I'm just like, ah,
Yes. The
but
fact
we're
that
here.
our phones are everything is a both an asset and a liability, right? I did find out my neighbor's wireless network names. So
Yeah,
none of them were very
that's
funny.
fun.
I know. I don't have any funny ones. I've lived near some funny ones before and I always names. Appreciate it. So
Yeah.
none of them were
Oh, there
very
you
funny.
go.
I
Sorry,
know.
hang
I
on.
don't have
Muting.
any funny ones. Hi, Karen.
Hey,
Um
Karen. We didn't want to deprive you, Karen. No withdrawal for you today.
Yeah, I'm just pleased I figured it out because this maybe isn't a typical Gen X attribute, but hardware just terrifies me, and it always has. Like the printer breaks, and I'm like, I guess I'm never going to print anything ever again in my whole life.
Well,
If
that's
there's,
okay. In fairness, that's partly because Sarah just asked if you cannot do these from the computer, and you can't,
you
Sarah. The
can't,
only way that you can broadcast is from your phone. You can watch from your computer and you can type and interact, but you can't be live from anything but your phone, which is so frustrating. Please fix it, Substack.
Substack is so amazing to me. Well, it's amazing to me in many ways. It's interesting to me that the difference between the desktop and the mobile is
Right.
like profound
Profound, profoundly different,
and
which is
not
not like anything else these days, right? Like, usually
right.
there's so much alignment between the mobile app and the desktop, and just not true here.
No, and here's something really bizarre. Maybe I'm missing it, but I don't think you can become a paid subscriber on the app. You have to log in on the laptop. I have never figured out how to go from being an unpaid to a paid subscriber, like to manage my subscription on my phone. It's, weigh in if I'm being stupid, but I'm like, shouldn't priority one for Substack be make sure payment works
Right. Right.
everywhere? I mean, they
Like,
should be paying.
again, like we said with all things, I'm sure there's a product manager in Substack
Yeah.
somewhere who can explain the logic, but like,
Well, you see, we're building on an old code structure.
yeah, like,
It's
but we
payment.
don't, whatever it
Yeah,
is, it doesn't make sense to the end user. So it's not working, friends.
it's really not. I mean, there have been times where I'm like, I'm trying to give you money. Like that, that should happen first for any business, right? Yeah, I had to start using my computer to subscribe. Yeah. I, I mean, not everyone has a computer. I haven't tried on tablet because I barely have. We have one like shared iPad that mostly my kids use for art, but so I haven't tried from a tablet. But and it's hard to find a log of lives. Oh, right,
Oh,
right,
yeah. And Karen, if you found it, then you're a better person than me because I have looked and I cannot find it.
right. You know what I want, Lawrence, is like the old school TV guide
Right.
of like it's 7 p.m. and I'm feeling lonely. Who can I listen to?
Well, right. And also, like, what did I miss at 6 p.m. so that I can go back and, and watch
What?
that recording. Like, some people do lives and they don't post a recording of it,
Right.
So
Right? And I think so I hope Substack's paying attention to this of like literally the old TV guide where you can go back and forth, you can see the archive of it. Because I don't think we were early to Substack. We should have joined ages ago and hemmed and hawed, especially because Medium was so kind of all consuming for me. But I think we're early to going live. I think people have not like it does seem like a lot of people are popping up with lives, but this idea of like live TV and what we're doing of like every day we're doing this at the same time, like, you know who I'm following and subscribed to, show me a grid of all of the scheduled lives or all the lives I've missed. Yeah, there
Right.
should be a place to see that.
Hey, Substack, if you're listening, I need a job. Let me
Lawrence,
help you.
right? You
Let
would
me
be
be
an
the person who's like managing feature requests or something.
Mhm. Could you write the BRD for this, Lawrence?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I could write the business requirements doc for this for sure.
Yeah, Karen has found them all. So Karen can be your stakeholder number 1 here if we do that.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. We'll have a user,
Ew.
a user focused group, and Karen will be the leader of that user focus group.
Right?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Please help us do this. So, our t this is, extra annoying to come back to my stupid, router being dead. It's extra annoying because I was like, "Oh, I need to leave a little early today. I'm on carpool duty." Oh, hi, Sunny. I always love
Hey,
seeing
Sonny.
my real life friends join these. It's very cool. Um, so we wanna talk today about sanctuary cities, and we wanna talk about the Magnetic Field 69 love songs, and you know what? They're related in my weave of a world.
Right. Right. In Dana's manifestation of the weave, these topics are related. Um.
Yes. So,
Yeah. Let's kick us off. Kick us off.
okay. So, I live in Seattle. Lawrence used to live here. I've made no secret about that, nor of the fact that this is a very liberal blue bubble, and I like living in my blue dot. We have a new governor this year. He was our attorney general before. His name is Bob Ferguson, and he was like, I think he was the attorney general who took on Trump. Um, uh, we've
You-
had a little pass. He took on Trump more than any other attorney, I think, and won over and over and over during
Trump won.
DTV1. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he has vowed that we will remain a sanctuary city and state. And so far that has been true. I can say anecdotally, one of my daughters is at a high school in Seattle Public Schools, and they have been emphatic in their support for immigrants, their support for LGBTQ folks. The the principal for her high school is awesome, and she sent out an email right after those executive orders at the beginning that were focused on trans youth and educating them and caring for them. And she was like, as a queer woman myself, like, no, they're not coming for these kids. And I was like, fuck yeah. I love living here, right? It's one of the I feel like it's one of the few reasons I find living in the States under DTV2 tolerable.
Yeah.
That's not to say we haven't had ICE raids. I've read about them. We're not immune, but I do feel like we have a cultural expectation here that we are a liberal and um, DEI loving. I cannot believe that that acronym has now become
And- right.
pejorative,
An epithet. Yeah.
an epithet. That was the word I was looking for. And yeah, this is a place that equality comes first, at least in theory and often in practice. So all of these things said, we've been targeted pretty heavily over the years. Like now when I travel, even when I was just in Ireland, um, I don't think he was homeless, or I didn't see a lot of homeless folks in Dublin, but some kinda, like, rough around the edges older dude started talking to us in the street, and when we said we were from Seattle, he was like, "Oh, they've got a lot of trouble there," and I was like, "Well, there's a lot of trouble in the States, but we're actually doing better, than most," and he was like, "No, you've got all the drug addicts and the homeless people," and I hear the same thing when I go to Florida to see my family. People are like, "Oh, Seattle, they're having lots of trouble," and I'm like, "You're watching the wrong news."
Right.
Not that we don't have trouble here with, the whole opioid epidemic, and there are far too many homeless people here, but it's because we don't just push them away, like so, yes, they're more visible here than in other places. All of that said, um, I don't even like saying his name. Uh,
Well,
a new executive order dropped. 3 new executive orders dropped 2
and,
nights ago,
and
and
let
one
me
of
know when
them.
you want me to interject and add some like political context to this.
Yes, I will. I just wanted to give the set the cue up, the volleyball serve of, 3 executive orders dropped, and one of them focuses on sanctuary cities. And I don't have the title in front of me, but it's like protecting the U.S. from dangerous criminal aliens, I think is what it says.
Yeah.
Something appalling like that. And it's a really short executive order. And I swear to fucking God, Lawrence, it's literally a post from Truth Social. His post from Truth Social. So that's the language in a fucking executive order. And as someone who loves words and has a sense of propriety and what the like, no matter who is in office, like the gravitas of words coming from the leader of our land, it's in like poo-poo 6th grade language. Exclamation point. Bad. We're going to go after these cities. So I'm horrified by the language, and I'm frightened at the idea that this will succeed because fuck, all of Washington public schools are so underfunded. Um, we have the most regressive tax structure here, I think, in the country. If not the one of the most regressive in the countries, because we don't have a state income tax. So
Right.
all of those Microsoft and Amazon and Starbucks and Nordstrom millionaires, like their income's not getting taxed. We have a real high sales tax. It's like 10.1 or 10.2% in the city now. So I don't know how we can get by without federal funds. I know Bob Ferguson is vowing to fight, our governor. Our mayor says he's spicy. Bruce Harrell, I read his statement and he was like, no, we're going to protect people. He's there's never a conservative mayor. He was the more conservative of the 2 liberal candidates to win.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what this means for us and all the other sanctuary cities. He went after Boston in the executive order too. Not a city I consider home, but it is where I was born. So, go Boston. Lawrence, do you want to add some political context here? Or, this is all political, but do you want to add some additional context of what's going on, and what the risks are now for sanctuary cities?
Yeah. I think there is a glimmer of hope here, right? Which is that back in 2017, California passed this piece of legislation called State Bill 54. It was like California Values Act, right? But it got called the Sanctuary State Law, and it passed robustly within California, and it kind of carved out a lane, right, to say that, like, yes, we acknowledge that immigration constitutionally is the province of the federal government, right? And there are laws and statutes that say that the federal government can own certain things and overrule state rules. But the California law, SB 54, kind of carved out this lane and said, sure, but you can't make us use state and federal forces to enforce your law. Like, if you're going to enforce ICE things, you can't make us use local police and our local folks to do it. And we can protect people. And it got challenged in the Ninth Circuit, and it won in the Ninth Circuit. So it won at the federal judicial review level. And then the Supreme Court declined to review it, right? Which basically means it won. It's good. The Supreme Court essentially said, it looks settled to us. You guys are good. So that law is still on the books for California. And it's basically a framework in which other states can say, hey, we are going to protect our sanctuary cities. Like, we're going to kind of do what we said we were going to do and live up to our values. And so, with the new EO, California has come out, and, Gavin Newsom, love him or hate him, the good thing that he did was he got this law passed. And with the new EO, he was basically like, no, fuck you guys. We're defending SB 54. We're keeping our Sanctuary State Act. And so, when we talk about what could happen, Dana, I think you and I have talked about this a lot before, which is maybe we get to a point where Trump tries to withhold state funding, right? Like, he has threatened, or federal funding. I mean, he's threatened, like, if you don't comply, I'm gonna like what he's doing to Janet Mills in Maine right now, right? She wouldn't comply in her out around trans athletes.
Two transgender athletes.
Right. And
Kids.
so he's doing all this crappy shit. Like, they wouldn't issue social security numbers to newborn kids in Maine. They
Oh
are
my God, seriously? I didn't hear
serious.
that.
Yes. He, they were not funding, they weren't giving federal funding for schools.
That
I think maybe we see this go big, right? And like he says, he's not funding California. California has 39 million people. They're absolutely going to freak out if they don't get federal funds. And then, like the thing that you and I have talked about, maybe we get to a point where California's like, okay, well, then we're not giving you any tax money that you know, we're a big blue state that gives more to the federal government than we get. Maybe we don't give you that.
Right. And Lawrence, at that point, like, how far is that from secession? Like, we're refusing to
Very,
give
very
you,
close.
right? I, I haven't heard Washington make that declaration of we're not giving you federal funds. Obviously, we're nowhere near, we're not at that point yet, but I just read California's GDP is third or fifth
Fifth biggest in
in
the
the world.
world.
Yeah. Um, I'm like, yes, Cascadia. I'm
Oh
ready.
God, Cascadia, yes.
Bring it on. Yeah, at least the western parts of Washington, or the whole states, Oregon and California, we'd be a pretty powerful country. If Canada would pick us up, we'd be even better. I know that's all like liberal fantasy right there, but um, what does it like? I'm just struggling with what it means practically, because I'm not following this obviously this EO just dropped, and this isn't an issue I have followed as closely as something like the early executive orders, early, like 90 days ago, around trans kids, because that's a subject very near and dear to my heart. I do know that Seattle Children's, at least in part, capitulated because they would lose funding for way too many sick kids. And I wouldn't fight it if Canada, oh yeah. Could California control or stop the payments? Bob Daniel is asking.
Hey, Bob, I, I don't know, right? Like, I think we start to get into uncharted territory. Like, how many times have you heard that in the last 100 days?
It's unprecedented, Lawrence.
This is an unprecedented situation.
Uh,
Yes, well, perhaps that's because we should unpresident somebody.
You wish Canada would annex Texas. That's the least likely state Canada wants.
Right.
Sorry.
Right. I mean, I'm sure they'd love,
They'd
some
love Austin.
Gulf of Mexico coastline, but
Yes. The Gulf of Mexico coastline? The Gulf of Mexico coastline.
yeah, I know who I'm
Yeah.
talking to.
Yeah. I I don't know how Washington can protect itself. We have tried. No one actually has really tried very hard. There's been muttering of like, we should probably pass a state income tax to have a more solid and secure tax base. Obviously, wildly unpopular. Um, Not that I would, especially these days, love having my paycheck go even less far. But I worry about this state because people are going to be spending less because everyone is worried, and also because things are going to be costing so much more, or they're just not going to be available. Apparently, if our can we just have a little moment of yesterday's talk about the ports and how it felt like literally 30 seconds after the thing was done, like it exploded in the news, Lawrence. Like,
Yeah,
we were ahead by about 5 seconds, maybe 30 seconds tops.
right, and only because you got the meme about the Port of Seattle being empty, and a bunch of other folks on Substack had recently posted articles, and so we were like, "Oh wow, this looks important. We should talk about this." And
It seems
that
to be a
afternoon, I
natural
turned on,
consequence. Yeah.
yeah, I turned on MSNBC, and I was like, "Oh, they're literally talking about this all over MSNBC." And I
Yeah.
we were kind of briefly on a live with Frederick Pogue last night, and I was joking with him that, like, I thought our commentary sounded as as intelligent as the folks on MSNBC. I think there are so many smart people on Substack that, like, y'all, we're the new press. Like, we are the new cutting, not Dana and I specifically, but all of us collectively, Substack,
right?
we're the cutting edge press.
I, you wrote that to me. You texted that paraphrase to me yesterday, and I was like, yes, that's kind of what's been astonishing to me in being here these couple of months is both that the ethical members of the the real press, the traditional press, are here, but also the level of citizen journalism that's happening. It's astonishing, and I hope it can remain because I know the person who owns this company is not aligned with us politically. But I mean, when it came to those executive orders about trans kids, I knew about them first because of Erin in the Morning. And if you don't follow her, you should because she's amazing. But and when I first got here, it did feel a little tinfoil hat. Like, am I just doing this? Like, you can't trust the regular media. You got to find your own sources. But I was like, no, she's always right. She's always right. And I follow Dr. Zachary. I can't remember his last name. He gives all kinds of good information about FDA warnings and um, CDC information or information that traditionally would have been coming out of the CDC. Like,
Right.
this is where we are now. So I agree with you, Lawrence. When we this topic, yesterday's topic, I was like, well, what do we have to say? We're not experts in these fields. This isn't what we do for a living. But there is this sense of like, neither the talking heads are not like nobody knows what to really. Again, unprecedented. These are just unprecedented times, and no one quite knows what to do of like, "Oh, well, we've never put a 145% tariff on China before."
Right.
But we have good minds, and it doesn't take that many steps ahead to think about what that will do if you have half a notion of logistics of like, well, even though information moves really quickly, boats are slow. It's
Right.
literally a slow boat from China.
Oh.
And the boats are gonna obviously come to the West Coast of the United States primarily because
Right.
geography, which Mr. Kinich told us not to take because we were too smart for geography, remember?
I
8th
don't
grade.
remember that, and I don't think I listened because I love geography,
Yeah.
and
Did you take it in 9th grade? I did not.
I don't remember taking it in ninth grade,
I
but
don't
I
think you
remember
did.
being the dork that, like, sat there with the map of the world and, like, where's
Yeah.
this? What is this? Oh, look how close that is to that," So,
Yeah.
yes, I'm that nerd.
Yes, well, you didn't need the geography class then, but yes, our 8th grade civics teacher was like, "You kids are too smart," because it was like an advanced class. You don't need to take geography in 9th grade. That's for I think he might have even said that's for the dumb jocks. I'm also pretty sure he was hitting on some of the prettier girls in 8th grade. So
N None of that surprises me in retrospect.
the 8th grade, yeah, what was the 80s in 8th grade? That's what you get. Um, to come back to sanctuary cities, because we are going on a little bit of a tangent here. Um, Is there anything we can do? Like, at least with the tariffs and the ports, like, there was a sense of, like, these are things you could stock up on. I did see how the Iberian Peninsula lost power for, like, 24 hours, and so the candles and batteries conversation we had yesterday, I was like, "Yep, I gotta get more of those."
Yes.
Um, but what can we who wish to protect sanctuary cities, either because we live in them or we don't anymore, Lawrence, but we want to keep them there, um, oh, Trump needs to take geography. Trump needs to, yes, and also there's like an awful lot of things I would put ahead of that, right? Uh, but
I wanna be in the room when somebody sits down with Trump with a Mercator projection map, and then with the actual geographic landmass representing map, and says, "So Greenland is not actually as big as Africa. It's about 14 times smaller."
did he
Because
say it was
that
as big
shit
as
would.
Africa?
Huh?
Did he
On
say
a
it was
Mercator
as
map, Greenland, because it's close to the poles, looks like it's the same size as Africa, and it's absolutely not. It is significantly, significantly smaller. But Trump, who's all about appearances,
right? But did
who
he say that?
he didn't say that. I'm just saying,
Okay.
like, I want to be in the room when somebody tries
Oh,
to teach
gotcha.
him that fact, to watch his orange head explode and have him be a
Yeah.
complete meltdown. But to reply to your question, I think So the good thing about this is it is a more local issue, right? And so I think we as citizens have the opportunity to move the needle a little bit more and more quickly. So, if you live in a city that's debating sanctuary status, you can go to city council meetings, right? You can talk to city council people or your mayor. At the state level, you could talk to state senators and state representatives and try to get something done. Uh, I think that basically, like, there's an opportunity to actually make some positive forward movement on this at the state and local level, um, because we're going to need to. And I think this is absolutely a place where Trump wants to. He wants the fight, right? He wants to defund California
And
or
I'm
Washington
in
or
Seattle, I
Illinois,
mean,
right?
and
And
Portland, right, Chicago, Boston, all these cities.
my hope right now is that between Ferguson in Washington and Gavin Newsom in California and JB Pritzker in Illinois,
Oh, he's so good.
yeah, that there is an
Oh,
opportunity for those three state leaders specifically, because I don't know about Kathy Hochul in New York. I don't know that she's got the mojo to kind of stand up for it. Although I'd love to be wrong. Um,
but what's her name in Maine? Get her on board too.
right,
Miss,
yeah,
I'll see you in court. Like,
Janet
fuck
Mills,
yes. Sorry, I can't believe I forgot. Say her name again.
Janet Mills.
Janet Mills. Sorry, I apologize to Janet for forgetting her name because those are the names we should be repeating right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Their babies don't have social security numbers. What does
I
that
think they
mean?
finally recanted on that, but yeah, there was like a month or 2 month period there where the Social Security Administration was forbidden from issuing new Social Security numbers to babies in Maine. And, as a parent, you know how important it is for your kid to have a Social Security number to get benefits and apply for programs and things. Like, yeah, it's insane.
Just to be a citizen, you have to. Yeah, that's
Right.
wow. Okay, that's wild. Janet Mills, hats off to you. Um, okay, I feel confident that any fight that can be had, that can be made, will be had here. I just don't know what's in them. I did see that the ACLU, when I was reading about this last night, I really need to move my setup, Lawrence, so I can have my laptop next to me because, my Swiss cheese memory is not going to be great for remembering details. But the ACLU is taking this one on already. Um, they already have a whole page up about this not being legal. So I donate to them every month. If you don't donate to the ACLU and you have a little money to spare, that's a excellent, obviously an excellent place to be. What's the word I'm looking for? Bolstering with your funds because we need all the lawyers that we can get. Um, you sent Bob a
Bob
what is
posted
this?
in the chat, check out the Dymaxion projection, which I, of course, then had to look up. And it's fucking cool as shit.
What
It,
is it?
uh, I don't know how to explain it to you. So it's essentially a projection of the Earth that I think where lines of latitude and lines of longitude are honored. And so what that means is every piece of geography is accurately represented in terms of size and
Okay.
relationship to other pieces. But man, if you were looking at it, it is not a way to drive your ship around the world.
Okay. I'll have to take a look at that. Learning something new every day here at the Daily Whatever. Um, I do slightly watch me shift topics and try to make two things connected that aren't really. Speaking of sanctuary cities,
Oh, yes. I wonder where you're going with this, Dana.
exactly a year ago, Lawrence and I met in a sanctuary city called San Francisco. Perhaps you've heard of it.
We
Um,
we we met up. We didn't meet there. We met
oh, sorry,
many,
sorry.
many years before that.
Yes, the English language and its ambiguities. We met up. We coordinated our schedules and flew in planes. Um, at the time, I've been in Seattle forever. Lawrence had left Seattle and was in LA. And those of you who have followed me for any time and read about my music writing know that I am obsessed with the band The Magnetic Fields and their 1999 opus 69 love songs. It's my favorite album of all time. It is literally 69 love songs on 3 discs or records, whatever medium you're listening on. Um, they don't tour very often, but they have toured. But when that record came out, they toured the full album and they performed for 2 nights and they just played it straight through. I came to the album slightly late, and so I just missed that tour, but it was the 25th anniversary of the release of 69 Love Songs, and so they were doing it again. They were touring to play the full record. And when they first announced the tour, there were only 5 cities, and the closest one to Seattle was San Francisco. And so I bought 2 tickets, for both nights and was like, "I don't care who I'm going with. I will go," because they went on sale, like, many months before. And as I got closer, I was like, "Lawrence, you should really," 'cause part of me loving this album was that Lawrence and I loved it together when it came out. And, so we met in San Francisco. Lawrence was kinda going through a challenging point in his life and wasn't sure he'd be able to make it. And I was like, "The tickets are yours if you can get here," because it was right on the cusp of moving, from the West Coast to Fort Wayne and all these other things, and I was like, "This almost sounds like a Magnetic Fields song, like, I'm flying to San Francisco
Right.
to meet my
Before
best
I
friend
move to the
Dana.
Midwest. Yeah.
We're going to see a show and eat." Uh, I I'm not a great songwriter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I my only recapitulation of what you just said is it is also it is my favorite album of all time as well. And Dana, interesting side note, this is so I fully grant that the vast majority of good music in my life I found through you. This is I think one of the first and only situations where I was told about it from my boyfriend at the time, right before you told me about it. So it was one of the rare situations where I was like, I do know the magnetic fields, Dana,
Right.
and I love them too.
Amazing. I love that, and, I'm not surprised. I mean, their music is very queer friendly, so it would make sense that you would know about it first. The, frontman and songwriter, Stephen Merritt, is a very gay man himself, and so one of the delightful parts of the songs of the songwriting is how it gender bends,
Yeah,
and they have 4 vocalists, and they kind of switch off who takes each song, and sometimes live, different people sing it, and so it totally changes it when it's if it's a man or a woman singing it and how
right,
how the prepositions and the pronouns line up. Not the prepositions, the
right.
pronouns line
Like
up.
when oh God, what's her name? Celia? What is her name? The woman who
No,
sings Papa Was a Rodeo?
yeah, no, it's, shit, wait, fuck, Sherry? No. Oh my
Celia.
god. No, Cecilia. It's, oh my god, Lawrence. I completely it's like it might be it's not quite Sherry. Just will you Google it because 'cause I'm not in front, and I'm so embarrassed that I'm forgetting her name right now.
Yeah. But I mean, the point that she's singing Papa Was a Rodeo, right? And there's like gender bending in that, and you
Yes,
kind of like, is this a gay song? Is it and 25 years ago, that was fucking revolutionary,
it
you know?
was.
Like these days it's kind of like, oh yeah, no, a woman singing a man's part in a song, whatever, how revolutionary.
Right.
Florals for Spring, groundbreaking.
But exactly,
You
and I
let's
know
go
that's The
watch The
Devil
Devil
Wears
Wears
Prada,
Prada
right?
with your daughter so that I
I
can
know, I just
finally
mentioned
make
that.
those jokes to you.
So I will get them. Right, that Papa Was a Rodeo, which is one of the most famous songs off the record, it opens with Stephen in his very deep baritone singing, "I like your twisted point of view, Mike."
Claudia or Shirley.
No, Shirley. Claudia Gonson's the other vocalist. Shirley, I knew it was like
Surely you're
Sherry, but not.
joking.
I love her voice, and, so he sings this opening line, "I like your twisted point of view, Mike. I like your questioning eyebrows," and it's all about 2 people meeting in a bar, and he's like, "No, no, we could never be together because of blah, 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 blah. My
Because
papa was a
it's a
rodeo,
rodeo, my
mama was a
mama
rock
was
and
a
roll
rock
band."
band. Yeah.
And at the end, Mike comes on and takes the final verse and says, "My papa was a rodeo too," and so they're aligned, but Mike is a woman singing. So it's a woman named Mike, but it's also a woman with this very gender ambiguous voice, right? You can't quite tell at first listen if it's a high-pitched man or a low-pitched woman. Anyhow, the show was going on. Lawrence met me there, and we got to see the 2 nights of, six
Oh no, Dana, you froze. Did she freeze for everyone else or just me? Ha- Oh no, Dana's internet connection is unstable. No, this is tragic. Hey, if anyone is still out there and can hear me, throw something in the chat, maybe. Uh, am I frozen though, or can you still see me? Okay, she froze. Oh, and she dropped. Oh my gosh, friends. All right, well, let me see if I can pick up. I don't know what she was going to say completely, but um, we met up in San Francisco and went to go see the Magnetic Fields show both nights. And in case it wasn't clear, they played literally every song off of 69 Love Songs, all 69 of them. And the first night was basically disc one and half of disc two. And the second night was the rest of disc two and all of disc three. And if you aren't familiar with the album, um, it really is like a magnum opus. There are so many good, quirky, weird, funny songs on that album, and they they screw around with genre and and vocalists and instruments and style, and it's really incredible. The backstory goes that Stephen Merritt, the kind of main guy, he at one point was he was like, I'm gonna write 100 love songs for you, talking to his boyfriend at the time or whatever. And they tried to write 100 love songs, and kind of in the time frame that they were working with, and kind of, with what was actually um publishable, they did 69 love songs, which of course, is funny just in and of itself that you get to say 69 love songs. Um so the songs are great, and it was absolutely one of those magical shows both nights where like the audience was singing along with every practically every song, and it was okay, right? It was like grown up sing along. And it was just really magical to be there with Dana, who I think you guys have figured out we've known each other for a really long time, and we like each other, and she's my bestie and one of my dearest friends in the entire world. Um, so just being there and being in San Francisco, and not the San Francisco of my youth, my my gay coming out exploration San Francisco, but sort of like modern tech bro San Francisco, that is struggling like many other major metropolitan cities with homelessness and housing shortages. And um, that actually reminded me of like one last thing that I kind of wanted us to talk about. I'm not sure that we had a chance that I know we didn't have a chance to do it. Um, there's a real conundrum in this country right now, right? Because we're looking to blue states and blue cities to be the place where we can feel safe. And even if Seattle and San Francisco and LA and New York and Chicago, even if they're big blue cities in blue states, and they are firmly, avowedly sanctuary cities, they're really fucking expensive to live in, you know? And so what do we do, right? Like we're fracturing in this country along so many lines of class and affordability and race and gender and all these ways in which we're fracturing. And it's just perverse that we are living in a time where we need community and we need alliances with like-minded people more than ever. And the result is that many people want to live in big blue cities to feel safe, to be kind of under that umbrella of sanctuary city. And it's hard because it's expensive, and you can't really find a good place to live, and you can't, afford to eat and pay your bills, and find the job that's going to sort of support at those levels. And so those are topics I know that we're going to want to talk about more in the future with all of you. And once again, the invitation is open. If anyone ever wants to, if you're passionate about a particular topic, um, or you think you may It's absolutely possible and likely even that there are people in the audience who know more about these topics than Dana and I do. So, you know, please, if you want to join us, please do that. I guess the thought I'll leave you with, because we're approaching the top of the hour, and I know she had to go get her kids to school anyway. Um, we'll talk about all these things more in the future. Um, and my God, I just blanked right in front of all of you. So I don't remember what I was going to say is the big wrap up point. Thanks, sleepless night and not enough coffee yet. Anyway, we're really grateful to all of you. Thanks for joining us this morning. Hopefully tomorrow we have a smoother daily whatever than we did today. We'll have a special guest tomorrow. Walter Ryan is going to join us again, and we're going to talk about writing. So it's going to be writers on writing. And if that is a passion of yours, please join us. Um, we'd love to see you again. So I'm going to let you all go and get on with your Wednesday. I need to go wake up, obviously. Thanks everybody. Love you. Mean it. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.